In this chapter, we are going to understand the concept of installments, and I'm pretty sure after watching this video, you will no longer find installment questions difficult because the way you have been solving installment questions by memorizing formulae could be tiresome. Often you forget the formulae. So watch this chapter to understand that how to solve installment based problems. So in installments, there are two things, the few things. That first is sometimes they might use the word due now or later. So if it is due now, that means they have given you the amount. And if they say that due later, right? So that means they have given you the principal. In any case, you need to calculate the amount. Okay, so the method that we will be using in those problems, we have to calculate amount. So if principal is given to us, we will calculate amount and then apply the technique. Okay, then it could be simple interest or compound interest base. Now you know what is simple interest, what is compound interest, how to find simple interest and compound interest, and some special questions might involve the concept of down payment. So we shall look at all these kinds in this video. So first question says, what annual installment will discharge a debt of rupees 43,680 due in 3 years? So it is due in 3 years. It means that amount is already given to us at 12% annual simple interest. Okay. Now understand this process very carefully so that you do not have to remember any formula. Okay. Suppose all installments are of 100 rupees. Let us say 100x, 100x and 100x. He has to pay in 3 installments. So he has to pay 100x, 100x and 100x. This is at the end of 1 year. This is at the end of 2 years. And this is at the end of 3 years. Okay. Now if a person does not pay this interest this installment on time and pays at the end of 3 years, what will happen? So if it is on time and if it is at end of the 3 year period, so on time, like this is 3 years, so there is no delay, so that will be 100x only. But if you pay it after 1 year, so if you are not paying this installment, you will have to pay 12% interest. 12% interest. So instead of 100x, you will be paying 112x. Now, this was supposed to be paid at the end of 1 year, but the person did not pay in 1 year. So in 2 years, he has to pay 24% interest. If the person decides to pay at the end of the period, so he will be paying 124x. Okay. Now, what happens in simple interest or compound interest? Whatever questions you do on simple interest and compound interest, what you do? You borrow some principal, right? After X years, right? You pay entire amount, isn't it? We do that. We whatever principal we borrow, we pay the entire amount after X years. So same thing we need to understand that if you are not paying installments, right? At the end means that you are not paying installments. So what you will do? You will pay at the end. So how much will you be paying at the end? That will be 336x. Okay. Now what is that 336x? This is this value. 43,680 is the amount if you pay at the end. So that is 43680. And what we need to find? We need to find the annual installment, which is 100x. So what will be the value of 100x? So that will be 43680 by 336 into 100. Okay. Now a calculation hack that is handy here is, of course, we will have 3 zeros in the end, right? Now I can say with certainty that this is 13. Okay, and you need to develop this confidence because most of the time students think that they are going to get things in decimal. They do not realize that most of the times the values are integer values. Now how going to say with conviction is, you can multiply 336 by 13. See, 336 into 10 will be 3360. 20 times is not possible. It is only 10 times. Okay. And 6 into 3. The last digit is 8. So with conviction, I can say that it is 13 and 3 zeros. So I get the answer as 13,000. If you develop this ability, then you are far, far better than 99% of the aspirants, because they keep calculator. They will, like if it is CAT, they will start using the calculator. If it is some other examination, they will skip the question. Now we see the answer as 13,000. So this is the process of solving installment based questions. So let us look at some more examples of the same. What annual installment will discharge a debt of 39,000 3,91,500 due in 5 years at 8% annual simple interest? Okay. So here we have 5 installments. Installment 1, installment 2, installment 3, installment 4, installment 5, right? Suppose all installments are of 100x, 100x, and 100x. Now this is on time, and if you pay at end. Okay. Now understand that due in 5 years, that means the amount is given to us. This is the amount, right? Now last installment obviously would be paid at the end only. If you do not pay in time, if you pay 1 year later, you will have to pay 8% interest. So you will have to pay 108x. If you do not pay this installment on time, if you pay an end, you will have to pay 16% interest. So it will be 116x. 3 years late, that will be 24% interest. And similarly, 4 years late, it will be 32% interest. Okay. So if you pay at the end, we are paying the amount. So total we add, that becomes 100. Like we can add these values: 32 plus 24, 56, 72, 80. So 580x, which is equal to the amount, that is 391500. And what we need to find? We need to find the annual installment. So we need to find 100x. Okay. Now what we will do is, the value will be 391500 into 100 by 580. Now in this case, the thing does not work, right? We are not getting last digit as a product of 8. So we will have to basically do some calculations. So let us see, 58 is a multiple of 29. Okay, try dividing this by 29. Okay, and make it 29 into 2. Okay, and try dividing it by 29. So 293915, and leave that double zeros aside. 29 into 1 is 29. We get 10. 101, that is 3 times, which is 87. And we have 145, which is 5 times. So 135 into 29. So we get 13,500. Okay, by 29. So when we divide by 29, we are left with 2 over here. And we can multiply by 5. So we get 13,500 into 5. So that will be double zeros, and this will be 675. So the answer is 67,500 rupees. So I hope through a couple of examples you must have understood the simple interest type. Let us see the next question. Aman borrowed rupees 25,800 at 5% simple interest, payable at 4 annual installments. Find the annual installment paid by him. Now in this question, if you notice, okay, if you notice this problem, here we have 25,800 as the borrowing, right? So this is the principal. So what we will do in this case, we will calculate the amount. Now we will do the thing of installment, 5% simple interest. Let us say the installments are 100x, 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 and 100x. Okay. So if you pay the last installment at the end, does not matter. If you pay 1 year late, 5% interest, 105x, this will be 110x, and this will be 115x. So total is how much? 430x, right? Now total is 530x. It is not equal to 25,800 because this is the principal. Now what will be the amount? 425,800 is the principal. 5% simple interest, 4 years. Okay, so 4 years. That means we need to add 20% interest. 20% interest, 4 into uh, 5, 20%. 20% interest means amount will be 6 by 5 times. Okay, no need to calculate this value. We will calculate in one line itself. And we need to find the annual installment. So basically we have to find 100x. So 430x is this. We need to find 100x. So 25800 into 6 by 5 into 100 by 430. Okay. Now remove the zeros, the necessary part. So 43 into 6 is 258 and this is into 2. So what do we get? 6 into 6, 36, into 2, 72 and double zeros. So 7,200 is our answer. I hope through these examples you are feeling that this is such a simple thing. If the principal is given, make the amount. If the amount is given, use it. Ronak borrowed 18,200. Again, principal is given to us at 20% compound interest, payable at 3 equal annual installments. Find the annual installment paid by him. Now, this is a question on compound interest, right? So, we will have to make the installment accordingly. Suppose the installment is 100x, 100x and 100x. Now, if you do not pay on time, obviously this will be 100x. In this case, 20% compound interest. In 1 year, you will be paying 120x. Now, here comes the compound interest thing. So, you will be saying 1.2 square times. Because in compound interest, you say the amount is, like we say that the amount is P 1 plus R by 100 raised to the power T, right? So we will have 144x, not 140x. I hope this basic thing is clear that in compound interest, the rate of interest keeps compounding every year. Okay. Now the same thing we will apply. Just the minor change here is how to calculate the installment part. Total we will get as 364x. Now that is not equal to 18,200. That is equal to 18,200 into, this was the principal, amount is 1 plus R by T. So 1.2, right? And the time is 3 years. So this is our amount, right? So equate, see this at end, whatever this you are calculating, equate it to amount. That's what you need to do. And then we need to find the value of one installment. We need to find 100x. So that will be equal to 18,200. Okay. And we can make it 6 by 5 whole cube. And this is into 100 by 364. Okay. So we can just simplify it to this thing. If this is half, so we can say 50 times. 50 into 100 is 5,000 and 6 by 5 whole cube. So 216 by 125. 125 into 4 is 500. So 40 into 216. So 216 into 4 will be 864. So we get the answer as 8640. Now you realize that such calculations are very simple if you apply this process of solving installment based questions. A loan is to be returned in 2 equal yearly installments. If the rate of interest is 10% per annum, the compounded annually and each installment is 65,340. What is the total interest charge? Okay, now this is entirely a different problem wherein we are given the value of installment. Now, how are we going to solve this problem is, so first of all, let us say there are 2 installments. So the values would be, if we take the normal thing, that is 100x and 100x. This is installments on time. And if you do not pay on time, so we will be paying 100x here. and 110x. So total you are paying is 210x, right? And what is the amount here? So principal was 100x. Okay, uh, like we are paying 200 uh, 210x. Now each installment is given to us, right? So installment value is given to us, that is 65,340, that is 100x. This is the amount given to us, right? So what is the amount? Amount is 65,340 into 210 by 100. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to find the total interest. So how will we get the total interest? So total interest will be obtained when we know what is the principal. This is amount. Now we know that in compound interest amount is P 1 plus R by 100 raised to the power T, right? So amount is given to us, R and T everything is known, so we can calculate principal. So principal will be equal to, amount is this, and in this case amount will be equal to 1.21 P. Okay, 10% rate of interest. So P will be this divided by 1.21. So can we say that principal is 65,340 into 210 by 121. Okay, a bit of calculation is needed here. Okay, so let's do that. So we will see 5 times is 605. Okay, that gives us 48, 484, 54 times. So 54 into 21 and double zeros. 84, 8 carries 105, 113. So that is equal to 1134 and 2 zeros. This is the principal that was borrowed. Now we need to find the total interest here. Okay, how much did he pay? He paid two equal installment of this. So what is the total amount paid? Amount paid is not this, because this was, if you pay at the end, amount paid was basically 65,340 into 2, which becomes 13680. Okay, and the principal was this. So the interest paid is 80, and this is 72, and this is 17280. So that is our answer. A tough question, because you need to think of a lot of factors. So this is how we solve it to get the answer. A man buys a scooter on making a cash down payment of rupees 18,000 and promises to pay two more yearly installments of rupees 16,224 each. If the rate of interest is 4% per annum compounded yearly, the value of the scooter is. Okay. So, in case of this installment based problems, we have the concept of cash down payment. Okay. So, what we do is we have the price or cost, right? That is equal to cash down payment plus principal. Okay, then we apply installment concept on principal. So sometimes the cost will be given, you subtract the cash down payment, you will get the principal. In this particular question we have to find the cost. So cash down payment is given to us, we will calculate the principal and add it to get the cost of the scooter. Okay, so that is the concept of cash down payment. Now in the problem we are given cash down payment, we will use it later. Now there are two more yearly installments of 16,224 each. The rate of interest is given to us. We need to find the value of the scooter. Now installment is given to us. Let us say installment 100x and 100x, right? Compounded yearly, so it does not matter. 100x if paid on time. If not paid on time, that will be 104x. Okay. Now we get the amount as 204x. Now, like we did in the previous question, that 204x we need to find. We know 100x. 100x is 16,224. Okay, so we need to find 204x. That will be 16,224 into 2.04. This is the amount. And how do we find principal? Principal is, we know amount is principal 1 plus R by 100 raised to the power T. So here T is 2. So we will get 1.04 square times of P. Okay. So we need to find A. A will be, we need to find P. P will be, this is the amount. So P will be equal to 16,224 into 2.04 upon 1.04 whole square. Okay. Now we know that this is a calculation intensive question. However, we will divide it because we are getting some round of value. So definitely you will be able to divide by 104. So let us first divide 16,224 by 104. So 1 times is 104. We get remainder as 58, 582. That is 5 times is 520. We have 62, 624. This is 6 times. Okay. So we will remove the decimals. Okay. So 104 into 204. So if you make 100, another 104, we'll have to multiply by 100, right, to remove the decimals. So when you divide by 104, we will get 156. Now you can see that 52 into 3 is 156 and 52 into 2 is 104. So we can take this as 3 by 2. So this becomes 102. Now 102 into 3 is 306 and 100. So principal amount is 30,600. So 30,600 is the principal and 18,000 is the cash down payment. So we get 48,600 as the cost of the scooter. Okay. Again, a calculation heavy question, and using the approach we were able to solve it. If you did not know this technique, probably you will end up spending endless time and in this question or skipping it altogether. So a caution here is, if you have very good calculations, then only attempt this level of question in any exam. Next problem, a car is available for rupees 10.5 lakhs or a down payment of rupees 57,000 followed by 3 annual installments. If the rate of interest is 10% per annum compounded annually, what is the value of each installment? This is relatively easy. So we are given that cost is cash down payment plus principal, right? So cash down payment and cost is given to us. We need to find the principal. So principal will be 10 lakh 50,000 minus 57,000. So we get 9 lakh 93,000. Now we have to pay in 3 installments. So let us say 100x, 100x and 100x. Okay. Now if you pay on time, if you do not pay on time, this will become 10%. That is 110x. Now this will increase by 21%. Why? Because it has compound interest. Okay, so that will be 121x. Okay. So total amount we will get as 331x. That is equal to 993,000 into, this was the principal amount, into 1.1 whole cube. Okay, because 10% rate of interest. So this is the amount formula. So we need to find the installment. So we need to find 100x. So 100x will be 993,000 by 1.1 whole cube, or we can say that it is 1.331. Okay, upon 331. So 331 into 3 is 993. Now 3000 into this, 3 zeros will remove the decimal here. So that becomes 1331 into 3. That will be 3993. Okay. And I think we skipped a couple of zeros here. Okay, so we need to find 100x, right? So we need to multiply by 100 also. So we will get 399,300 as our answer. So this is how we solve this particular problem, wherein the cash down payment is given and we need to calculate the installment of the car. So in this video, we learned the concept of installment and we took ample examples covering different type of questions. I hope after watching this video you have mastered this concept, and whenever you encounter such questions, you will be able to ace them with ease.